It's that time again to talk about another big looter MMO on the horizon, the next Destiny killer, as most people like to put. I put that in quotations. But today we're going to be talking about Wayfinder or Wayfinders, whatever that may be. And we're going to go through all the information about the game, what you need to know, the activities, gameplay loop, and essentially go through some of the Reddit posts and Discord posts and collect all that information, condense it down so you can understand what to expect from the game. The first question you may have is, what is Wayfinder? Wayfinder is a character-based online RPG. Essentially, you choose from a variety of different characters. They'll all have different play styles, such as more tanky-based, more mage-based, and essentially you'll go into the world, defeat enemies, go through different dungeons, hunt beasts, battle enemies, and ultimately strengthen your character, and you'll be fighting something called the Gloom. The game is being created by Airship Syndicate. Airship Syndicate is responsible for Battle Chasers and also Darksiders Genesis, and also quite recently the League of Legends game Ruined King, which wasn't that bad, and I played it a couple of years ago. It's like 2 years ago when it came out, and that was pretty damn solid. They do have the backing of Digital Extremes, the team behind Warframe, and it's going to be following a similar model where it's free to play, and then it's going to have additional purchases, whether that's to do with in-game items or to speed up crafting and such. I'm not too familiar with the overall Warframe model, but I know that is what they are going down. The game is heavily inspired by JRPGs, Final Fantasy games, and other games within that genre. So your Borderlandses, your Destinies, and your Outriders, all those that kind of play into it, even Warframe as well. And they essentially want to create this big MMO that has a massive community, and this is like the next thing that they want to build, and they want to slowly build towards adding more characters and content over the future. My first initial impressions are, it looks pretty damn cool from what we've got to see so far. There's been a couple of alpha playtests that have already gone ahead, or beta tests so far, and they've got this really unique art style, and I'm interested to see how the game actually plays and get my hands on it, and we will be able to later on this year. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Let's talk about the activities and what you'll actually be doing in the game. Wayfinder, obviously being an MMO, means that the activities that you're going to be doing in the game are very similar to other MMOs. There's a really interesting picture that they have on their website, which I'll also throw up on screen right now. And essentially, this is what a play session will look like. You'll have your goals that you'll have, whether that be story quests, side quests, and daily jobs, expeditions, discoveries, item craftings, customizing your apartment. More on that a little bit later. And then you'll go into the overlands, which will allow you to have a shared space, do your explorations and such, action-based community awards, explore the overall areas, and then reveal yourself lost zones. The lost zones are going to be these instance dungeons that have replayability because they are randomly generated. They're going to have a lot of different loot. The players can influence the variables, whether that goes up when there's more of you, or if you're doing it solo, or there's different modifiers. And essentially, you'll go into these lost zones, fight enemies and bosses, complete the events, go and make more discoveries, complete the dungeon, get the loot, go in to do your jobs and your quests, hunt wild bosses and such, and then go into new destinations and rinse, repeat. The typical MMO loop. They haven't released too much information when it comes to the end game, but they have confirmed that raids are going to be in the game, and they'll reveal more details on that soon. After the game launches, they're going to continue this updates with seasons and adding new content, revitalizing old content, adding in new characters for you to play, similar to the style that Warframe has and many of the other MMOs that you know on the market right now, or looter shooters, looter type games that are out there. Now that you know a little bit about what we will be doing, let's talk about what we'll actually be playing as. So there's 5 characters currently, and then there's a redacted character. We have Wingrave, Silo, Nis, Senja, and Kairos, however you want to pronounce that. And you can augment each of the characters to have different loot and such, but they're trying to avoid the holy trinity of tank, healer, DPS, but it will kind of be apparent. They're trying to make it so all of the classes can do a little bit of both, or be a DPS or be more of a tank. And you can see that from the different character design. Wingrave is more close combat. We have Silo, who's more tactician, melee / ranged combat. Nis is high mobility melee combat, so kind of more like a rogue. We have another close combat tank in Senja, and then a ranged mage type character in Kyros. They've also said that they want to add obviously more characters in the future. They've also talked about a pet class as well, which could be pretty interesting to maybe some of the creatures in the world, and that has me definitely excited. I'm going to make an additional video talking about all of the characters that we have so far and going down all their abilities and such, and I'm going to save that for a different video, so stay tuned for that. But now let's talk about weapons and then just some other little interesting details that we have got from the Reddit posts, the FAQ, and also on Discord. The first interesting fact about weapons is that they're not going to be gated. You won't have to, get to a certain level to be able to get specific weapons. I don't know how that will actually work in the end game. We'll have to find out, but there's going to be variants and subclasses for each weapon, i.e. great hammers and great swords, but one may have higher break potential, one is potentially faster, and each weapon will have a unique ability, so a different attack potentially, or a buff that it could give you, and a different state breakdown alongside alignments, which is stuff that you can do to your gear. Echoes can alter the playstyle of your weapon and into your character abilities as well. These can all be upgraded with materials and stuff, and there'll be talents and that, which we'll have more details on in future. There seems to be a lot of different weapons, and if it's going after different rarities and such, then you're going to be wanting to get specific gear to go into your build. Hopefully it's more of like a stat stick type of deal, which we have in other MMOs, and you don't get too attached to the weapons that you're using. But if that is a route that they are going down when it comes to having interesting loot, legendary loot that you're going to be chasing, that would be pretty cool as well, so you can kind of get attached and have something to chase rather than just stat stick. Confirmed weapons that we've got to see so far are the sword and shield, a dual blade, rifles, and then two-handed melee weapons as well, as I've previously mentioned with the swords and the great hammers, but they will be revealing more in future updates, so we have to stay tuned for that. After gleaning through the FAQ and Reddit posts, there is a couple of interesting details as well, and to go into a little bit more detail on that, there will be player housing in the game. You'll have an apartment. This is where you can do a lot of your upgrading and enhancing your gear, augmenting it and your characters as well. They will be revealing more details on that, which I think is cool. Another interesting feature is that it's going to have cross-play and cross-save when it is out of early access. It's currently in the beta phase. And to give you the most important question, when will it be going into early access and when will it be dropping? It will be going into early access in spring of 2023, so March time, so a month from now to around April, May time potentially. The platforms that it will be on PC and PlayStation, and they are targeting a fall release, so October, November, December time will be likely when we get to see the full launch of this game. So we have another contender to the MMO looter shooter, loot-based game. I don't really know how to describe this, just like the looter genre. I like what I'm seeing here. I like the art style. I like that it's going to be another MMO. I like that it's free to play because there's no investment from the players to get into it monetarily. If it's going into early access and there's like a founders pack, you'll probably be able to jump in there, get some extra bonuses and such. And with the long-term model of Warframe, which has been very successful for Digital Extremes as they're bringing out more content for that and they're making another game, with that backing as well, I am a little bit more confident about this launch because they've made some good games previously. I've not played Battle Chasers, I've not played Darksiders Genesis, but I have played Ruin King, and that was a really good game, really good RPG. I never got around to finishing it, but I really liked the concept there, and it seems like this has been inspired by a lot of different games. At first I thought it was a League of Legends MMO, but it's not. It's something completely different and new for them, and if there's going to be loads of different characters and stuff, that means there's more content for me to make and more content for you to jump into in the game. And yeah, I'm very excited for this, and hopefully I can get into one of the beta tests and see if I can get into the early access when it comes out. We'll be very busy diving into all of that content as well, and I'll give you the lowdown on if I actually enjoyed it. I'd love to know your thoughts down in the comment section. Are you skeptical? Are you excited? Are you a bit on the fence at this present moment in time? Let me know, because it's another contender to the big Destiny throne, or wherever you want to put this in, as a lot of people put it. And will it live up to it? Who knows? I'm excited either way. But yeah, if you've enjoyed this video and it has been helpful, make sure you leave a like on it, subscribe if you're new, and turn on the notification bell as always. This has been It's Jimbo, and I'll see you guys next time.